Good day, my friend, and welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for being a part of our thing, of what we are doing right now. It means a lot to us, and I want to thank you for this. We have a lot to discuss and a lot to go over today, and today is going to be a tutorial. And if you are the slightest bit, dare I say, sensitive, if you feel like sometimes things that I say are directed towards you and you take offense, do not. It's not meant against you. Don't feel that whenever we say something about that this is directed towards you. There's an old joke. And you might have heard it. It's a little rough, but you get the point. Guy walks into a bar and yells, "All lawyers are assholes." And the guy at the end of the bar says, "Hey, I resent that." He says, "Why, are you a lawyer?" He says, "No, I'm an asshole." Okay, so the point is, it's about perspective, about finding or thinking that we're the ones who are being spoken to. We live in a world, and social media have done this and encouraged this. We're very, very sensitive about anybody who dares to question our knowledge, our background. We are an instant expertise in everything. Today, for reasons that fascinate me, people are experts now in beef tallow. They are talking about beef tallow at levels I cannot believe. And when you tell people this, the new thing now is seed oils bad. Okay? And you ask the question, why are seed oils bad? They have no earthly idea. All they know is this is bad. And it's the gluten phenomenon. What is that? Let me explain to you. And don't forget, today is the 5th. Hang on a minute. Today is just a minute. Let me get rid of this. That's not what I want. Let me get rid of this one. I want this. Just a second. Wait a minute. Hang on. I want this. Today's the 50th day. Theoretically, though some people say it's I don't know. I think it's 50th day. Because January 20th was the inauguration. So that's 11 days until January. So it's 11. February 28th, so that's 39. Today's 11, is 50. Today's the 50th day, but they're not. Anyway, I want these people in jail. We're going to get to that very quickly. But before I forget, because this is usually the way it is, my friends, let me go through this very quickly. We believe that we are experts in everything, and it's a phenomenon. I want to give this a name, and I saw this years ago in the world of gluten. There was a place on 10th Avenue called, it's called Nizza, Nizza. It's a pizza place, obviously. It's like Neapolitan. And they said, gluten-free. What? Gluten-free. What's gluten? I don't know what gluten is, but it's free, and I'm getting it. And they sold it like mad, and then gluten-free was going crazy. What's with gluten? What is it? No gluten. What is it? What is it? You're eating wheat. Why this? Well, what do you think wheat is? I don't know, but I'll buy this because I want to be a part of it. I'm not going to lift a finger to read anything about nutrition. I'm not going to change anything. The only thing I will do is I will pretend that I care about this. I don't know anything about anything. Seed oils. What's this? Why is it a problem? I don't know. It's the omega 3 to 6 or 6 to 3 ratio. That's what we're talking about. It should be 1 to 1 or 1 to 5. What? I'm not going to read about that. All I know is that we're talking about beef tallow. Beef. Fat that is solid at room temperature. Oh my God. That's as saturated as you can get. Dear God. What are you doing? It's not seed oils. No, seed oils. It's propeller. What? You don't know? My point is, and I'm not going to argue this with you. But last night was it Sean Hannity, whatever. They're at Steak and Shake. And by the way, Steak and Shake, for those of us in town, well, I've known this. It's and it tastes one. I think Steak and Shake is the best hamburger, period, bar none. Take home a sack. Remember that? There was one on Dale Mabry, one on Burgundy, one on Fowler. They were the best. But as they're eating and talking about beef tallow, they're serving meat. We have 750 to 800,000 coronary artery incidents every single year in our country. And it's because of our diet, not because of Wi-Fi, 5G, none of that. Diet. Not even lifestyle. Diet. What you eat. Stuff that doesn't exist. And it is absolutely well known. And you as an American citizen should be able to eat whatever the hell you want. Nobody should tell you that. I understand that. But don't pretend that you're an expert all of a sudden on beef tallow and seed oils, because if you only knew how insane this was. And do you know what you have to do every single day to correct your omega-6 to omega-3? That's the issue. How do you bring it from 1 to 1, maybe 5 to 1 to 1 to 1? What do you do? What do you need to do? I'm going to do a video on this. What is the one thing you can do every single day for the rest of your life? This one little addition that can completely eliminate, if not make a serious dent in this problem. Do you know what it is? Let me tell you this. And then we'll get on to this. And listen to what I'm saying. It's so easy. You don't have to do this one little, because it's the you got little in the gas, 5 to 1, 1 to 1. Don't worry about that. Every day, have on something in your oatmeal, in your food, something. 2 good tablespoons of ground, forget chia, forget hemp, flax seeds, ground, not purchased ground, not whole, because right through you. No. Ground. Just every day for the rest of your life. You can get a bag of this stuff. It costs nothing. Have a little grinder, one of those little things, and just have them in a little jar. You can put them in the fridge. It lasts a while, but just every day, doop. That's it. That has more antioxidant. That does more to balance this. I'll talk about it later. Just trust me on this. Trust me. You have no... If people knew what this does, but so many people do know. But you're not going to, because Fox News isn't going to carry that. But you will zoom in on seed oils. It's the way they're handling it. It's the production. And oil, they say, you know what canola means, right? Canadian oil. They think it's motor oil or something. So what are you talking about? Anyway, I'm not going to get into this stuff. It's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard anything like it. So what I'm saying is, and I deal with this all the time, don't get involved in this. Research. Don't watch Bobby Kennedy. And did you hear what this bullshit he said about testosterone? Oh my God. Well, I just take enough testosterone to replace. What is the matter with you? Are you growing a beard, Bobby? You're doing fine. I remember one time I got a friend of mine who was a physician. He says, I gave testosterone one time to somebody. What? He said he had an orchiectomy. He had prostate surgery. He lost his testicle. He had no testosterone, none. What are you people doing? It's weird. I don't understand this. It's like the gluten thing. What's that all about? I have no idea. It's like it's the mask thing. It's the whatever thing. I don't know we get into. We get it half-assed, half-baked. We have this crazy idea that we just learned one little piece of something. I'm going to tell you about this one thing. This is my favorite subject. I've studied this forever. And I feel like I've got some jurisdiction because, by the way, I think meat is the greatest thing in the world. I love meat. There isn't a day I miss it like you cannot believe. Oh, I'll tell you. I can't eat a little bit every time, but that's my election. As do other countries, as do people. India, a lot of vegetarian countries, a lot of anyway. So I hear this stuff, and I hear people come up with these things, and I remember one time. And I'm only going to just. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but there's this stuff that we have where we say we'll think we know something. And one is the Mediterranean diet. If you want to see me lose my mind, talk to me about the Mediterranean diet. I will lose my mind. Because people have never read it. They have no idea what it is, who said it, where's it from. They heard Mediterranean. I've got a friend of mine who refers to herself as European. I said, what is it, 20? I don't know how many. You Slovenian? What are you, Polish? Wait, what? She thinks European means French or Roman or something. I don't know what. Mediterranean. Hey, vino, wine, hey. There's how many countries? Israel? I mean, how many people bordered the Mediterranean? The study was in Crete. It was Ansel Keys. And they were starving. It was post-World War II. And they had nothing about olive oil and wine and cheese. What are you talking about? They were starving. They were eating roots and berries and plants, and they were walking for it because the Germans took everything they had. What are you talking about? Today, Crete through the roof. Cardiovascular disease through the roof. What are you talking about? Tell you one more thing, and then I'm going to stop because I'm losing my mind. I lose my mind. It's because they're not even close. They're not even close. I hear experts all the time. They have this kind of a running idea. Like, I think I know what this means. I don't really know. I sort of know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. Anyway, here's my favorite. This is called How Do You Do the Study? Okay? Critical thinking. The study was people. I love when they call it the French paradox. Well, they eat butter. No. We'll get to that in a moment. The thing that which killed me is this. Okay. There was a study that said that people that in some particular areas, people, and this one area people lived to be over 100. They said they had a glass of wine a day. A glass of wine a day. So what they said was, if you drink wine, if you don't drink now, but even if you drink a glass of wine, or if you drink wine, if you drink wine, you'll be better because it's good for the heart. What are you talking about? So anyway, somebody they said, well, because of this group of people, they lived to be 100, they drank wine. He goes, no, wait a minute. Anybody who drinks just one glass of wine a day is somebody who normally shows some degree of control, self-control, right? Okay. Let's see if maybe we can look at a group of people who drink no wine. They were even better. They missed the point. People who normally can just drink one glass, tend to not overeat, or maybe they exercise, or maybe they do something. They missed the point. It wasn't that they. When we used to say, when families ate a meal together at night, the world was better. It wasn't because you ate a meal. That was an indicator of other things. When we had prayer in school, it was better. We also didn't have premarital sex. Not because we didn't have prayer in school. It was just a factor. People who were hooked on heroin started off with marijuana. How many people do you know would ever say, I'll stick something in my arm, but smoke a joint? No way. I draw the line on that. Probably somebody who has the predilection, the predisposition, the proclivity to use heroin probably has an open mind as to drugs, especially more admittedly benign drugs like marijuana. It's not a link. It's not a gateway. It's the ability to miss correlation and cause. And last night, or whatever it was, I saw this thing. Sean Hannity, they're saying, what are those things they're eating? They're frying up. They're frying burgers. But you're worried about beef tallow for fries? Bobby, please, lay off the juice, the gear. What are you talking about? And I got to say one more thing. How do I say this? There are some people who love to pretend to be conservative. And when they live to be conservative, they say these conservative things. And the things that they say is their big thing is about women and men and gender. There were people that I know, that I see, people that are women who look like trans men. And they've had so much plastic surgery and I don't know what. They're talking to me about men and women and gender. When if somebody said, Jesus, here's a mirror. I don't even know what you look like. You're turning on. Check your genetic profile. Are you? What is happening here? Have you noticed this? I don't want to mention any names. We're losing our minds with this. And I sit back and I said, oh my God. And I just want to run out into the street and stop cars on, I don't know, Park Avenue or 10th Avenue and say, hey, do you notice this too? Yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Do you notice how the people who wore the masks were the most unhealthy people? Yes, I noticed that too. Do you understand how this doesn't make any sense? Yes. Do you remember that there are people who talked about light cigarettes? Light. It's better to smoke. It's better to, my father always smoked cigarettes without a filter. He smoked Luckies and they're better. Better? It's better. Shooting yourself in the knee is better than shooting yourself in the gut. That's true. We have lost the ability to say this. I don't know anything about this. I don't know why seed oils are bad. Why now? What happened now? What happened to gluten? What happened all of a sudden? I don't understand this. Trans fats, oh, that was good. Coconut is good. It's the only fruit that has saturated fat. The only plant. What? I mean, whatever gave you the impression you could weigh in about chemistry, nutrition, chemical food? Have you ever studied this? No. Religion, constitution, anything, politics, history, anything. We just make stuff up. We create the reality. And somebody will say something. I remember one time somebody said, I wish I had this today. Somebody in this weird study said, you know what we found out? You're not going to believe this. But women who smoke have lower ovarian cancer. And don't quote me on that. But they found some anomaly. It was either in the sample size, something. But somebody said, this is weird. But no ovarian cancer. So if you smoke cigarettes, you don't. Here's my final thing on the comment. There's an old joke. Jokes are great analogies. Women don't know jokes. Men, you ever talk to women about jokes? They have no idea. Ladies, what's your favorite joke? Joe? What's your favorite joke? Two guys walk to the bar. He's got a duck under his arm. What? God, what's that? It's a guy's little piano player in the bar. What? That's no. They don't know jokes. They never grew up with jokes. But jokes are a chance to teach people about. This was one of my favorites. Preacher stands up in the congregation, and he stands up and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you something. This is an earthworm." And he has a glass of water, and he drops the worm in, and the worm swims around, and he goes, "This is water, and this is liquor, vodka." And he drops the worm in, and it disappears because of the analytic, the protein. It's true, it disappears. He says, "What does this tell you?" And this drunk at the back of the bar says, "If you drink, you don't get worms." You see, this is what I want to teach you. Critical thinking. Know the facts, know the endorsement, know everything. I'm going to tell you one, and then we'll get to the super chats and your thoughts. We'll get to the day. We got a lot to talk about, but I just had to tell you about this. There was the first time I talked about food supply. I am an absolute believer in emergency food for weather, for whatever it is. Not necessarily because of civil war, but it could be too. Somebody said, I'll never forget, we're doing this. He types up, "Well, I've got a fishing pole." And I said, "Are you kidding me? I'm talking about food, disasters, clothes, unrest." And he said, "I've got a fishing pole." I said, "Let's find this person and make sure they don't have any sharp instruments, and make sure they don't drive a car." You don't have a fishing pole. I mean, you mean you can go out to the creek out there where the leaves are and the trees and the power lines, and you can say, "Where was that creek? Where was that stream? Oh, over there. I can't get to it. Come on, Eric. I got my fishing pole." Why? Well, we got to get food. We didn't get that stored food they talked about. I've got some I bought a freeze dryer. What do you got? A little thing of banana chips? Can you go 30 days? I'm thinking, why do you do this? Because they have to challenge you on everything. So putting that aside, pay attention forthwith. Listen up, patriots. Just because Donald Trump is back doesn't mean the chaos is over. The world is on edge. Listen carefully. Weather disasters, supply chain failures, labor strikes, economic sabotage. And let's not forget, the radical left is in full meltdown mode. They're not used to losing, and desperate people do desperate things. Capiche? So listen carefully. What happens when the food trucks stop rolling, when grocery store shelves go empty, when power outages leave you in the dark with nothing? You must act now. Prepare. Go to preparewithlionel.com and save $100 on the 3-month emergency food supply. Delicious, nutrient-packed meals that last 25 years. This is not an MRE. This is the world's premier survival food, except no substitutes. If you don't prepare now, you'll regret it. Once disaster strikes, the FEMA lines will be miles long. Will you be standing in them, or will you be safe, ready, and in control? Time is running out. Supplies are vanishing fast. So go to preparewithlionel.com now before it's too late. All right, my friends, again, you have the ability to learn anything you want. And ChatGPT and other things can... Oops. What? Oops, hang on a minute. Let me turn my thing off here. You have right now, my friends, the ability to handle some important things and to grasp, I think, what we should be calling the complexities of life and that sort of thing. Your own. You can learn anything you want. Now, by the way, Life in Spain is a new member. By the way, Life in Spain, thank you so much. España. I'm from Galicia. I love chorizo because of King Castillo. I'm from Barcelona. I'm suffering succotash. Anyway, Spain is a beautiful place. Love these people. You ever tell a Spaniard that a Mexican is Cuban? Remember the joke? What do you call a Mexican who marries your sister? A Spaniard. All right, my friends. Seeker says, Seeker became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Old Folders joins up. Thank you much. MRO Levon says, Russell Leroy Pickett, nom de guerre of John F. Kennedy Sr., who actually died August 2nd, 2020. John F. Kennedy Sr., who actually died August 2nd, 2020. John Kennedy Sr., JFK died in 2020. Did not know that. He would be 100. Pilgrim Media says, you are our MAGA Swami. We dig your honesty, sir. Thank you. Honesty it will get you in trouble. How we die. A fibrillating heart is like holding in one's palm a wet, jelly-like bag full of hyperactive worms. And don't forget also, Raul, he said, we are an obligate aerobe. Why do we die? Oxygen. Deb Kemp, ladies and gentlemen, her name is Deb Kemp. Your musing is knowledge are the highlight of my day. Thank you. I hope so, because sometimes I'm thinking, most people don't want to hear this. One hand fart for educational entertainment purposes. Absolutely. Remember this? There we go. That's called, by the way, crepitation is the actual name. Rand Anthony Kelly says, extinct political parties list. Federalist, Whig, Democratic, extinction in progress. Lionel, I still have 2 cassette tapes of your favorite guitarist radio show in 2003. Oh my God. Wow. That is frightening. Thank you so much to my loyal Nation family. No matter this, look at Jack Cruz Breed Love podcast. It's the masks indeed. Thank you so much. Chris Cox says, today, let's pray for the friends and family of Jamie White. Oh, yes, so sad. Yes, you're right about that. The Biden family, just like the Clinton and Hillbilly and Billy Bo, will never be locked up. For there comes, I wish it were true, but it won't. I understand that. Pilgrim says, how about non-smoking sections in aircraft? I remember that one. How about in elevators? You can see a little ashtray in old elevators. It's remove your tonsils, your appendix, your whatever. Let me talk about this, by the way. Let's pray for Jamie White. You know what was very sad? I looked and he followed me on X. I was like, oh no. There were some other people. I don't tell people who, sometimes people will tell me that there's one in particular who you would know the name, but their family member said he used to listen to you or whatever it was. And I kind of leave it quiet because I don't want to bother anybody. Because when you are radioactive, that's what the case is with me. You are radioactive. But this is what we want one day. This is it. This. Very simply this. We want this. It's a very simple thing. Now, how would we go about doing that? How would we ever do that? Is that even possible? Is that even remotely possible? Ladies and gentlemen, how could we actually ever see those days? We know it's a fascinating subject and a great, great thing to talk about. And I'm going to bring it to your attention. The fall, if you will, of the triumvirate, a scenario where Biden and Clinton and Harris could face justice. Is that possible, my friends? Is it possible? Well, picture this, my friends. It's late 2025. Donald Trump's back in the White House, of course. Everybody's happy. The MAGA machine is going great and humming at full throttle. The 50th day of his administration has just passed, and the air's thick with promises of draining the swamp, and this time for real. So Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris, the unholy trinity, the troika, the triumvirate, the trio of Democratic disasters, are smugly sipping cocktails in their coastal retreats and Joe's at Rehoboth or whatever the hell he is. Kamala is wherever the hell she is. Thinking they've escaped the long arm of the law. But hold the phone, my friends. Imagine whispers on X and rumblings in red state capitals suggest that maybe the net's closing in. How could that be? Well, maybe this. A perfect storm of federal indictments and civil lawsuits is brewing. Could it be? Hear me out. And these three could be staring down orange jumpsuits before Trump's first 100 days are up. But how's that possible? What are you talking about? Wait a minute. Well, let's break it down step by step. In a scenario that's as plausible as it is deliciously satisfying for patriots everywhere. First up, Joe Biden, the big guy himself. He's out of office, sure, but that doesn't mean he's untouchable. You see, the House GOP now wields a subpoena power like a sledgehammer. And let's say it launches a full-scale probe into the Biden family's a Biden family's foreign dealings, Burisma and all the bullshit. And it zeroes in on Hunter's laptop, that treasure trove of sleaze the FBI sat on for years. Now, let's assume the evidence surfaces. Emails and bank records. Well, of course, the evidence is there, but emails and bank records and all types of bank records showing Joe was knee-deep in the hoopla. Remember that one? Marconi played La Bamba. Listen to the radio. Don't you remember? I love that song. Bernie Taupin was one of the co-writers. Knee deep in the hoopla. In any event, Matt the Hoopla. Another pun for you. Ask your parents. Anywho, he's knee deep up to his neck in Hunter's Ukraine and China schemes, pocketing a cut from Burisma and CEFC, China Energy. And the charge? Conspiracy to violate the Foreign Corruption Practices Act. It's a federal felony carrying up to 5 years in prison. But it gets juicier. Witnesses flip, testifying Joe pressured the State Department to quash and squash and squish investigations into Hunter's buddies while vice president and the family and the brothers. You can bring in Tony Babalinsky. Remember him? Babaloo. Anyway, Polish Ricky Ricardo. That's abuse of power. Potentially bribery under 18 U.S.C. 201. By the way, it's a 15-year sentence. Then the DOJ, under Trump appointed AG, say, Kash Patel along with Pamela Joe Bondi, they dust off the Espionage Act, arguing that Joe's mishandling of classified documents at his Delaware garage, remember those? Remember that one? What if they endangered national security? No pardon saves him here. Because remember, there is no pardon. He wasn't pardoned. He's done. He's none. And with most cases, the conspiracy continues to renew. Trump's team claims that Biden's self-pardon was invalid if he even tried it, and the Supreme Court, stacked with conservatives, might just agree. Civilly, for example, states like Texas sued Joe for damages from his border policies, alleging his open-door agenda cost billions, negligence claims that could bankrupt him while the feds build their case. You like it so far? How about Hillary Clinton next, huh? The oven mitt fashionista with her weird clothing. Hillary Clinton, America's queen of scandal, who's dodged more bullets than a John Wick villain. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. What about that? Well, her email server saga never died. That never went away. Remember Sean Hannity? Bleach bet. Got a bleach bet. What about the bleach bet? I know the bleach bet. I think Sean may have had some action in the bleach bed company, because I never heard about bleach bed more than anybody tell it to him. Marconi played La Bamba. So Trump's DOJ then reopens the probe against her. And this time, they've got teeth. New leaks, maybe from a disgruntled ex-staffer. Let's say revealing that, Hillary didn't just delete 30,000 emails. She destroyed evidence of pay-to-play at the Clinton Foundation while Secretary of State. The charge, obstruction of justice, a federal crime under 18 U.S.C. 1519 with a 20-year max. Dig deeper, dig deeper, dig deeper. And there's more. Let's say donors from Qatar and Saudi Arabia wiring millions to the foundation synced with State Department favors. That's bribery again, plus possible RICO violations, racketeering, folks. A 20-year hit per count. The FBI unshackled from woke overlords and ghouls. They find classified intel on her server that she shared with unauthorized aides. Bam! Another Espionage Act, 10 years each. Civilly, families of Benghazi victims refile lawsuits claiming her negligence as secretary led to her loved ones' deaths. Painful, costly, and a PR nightmare. Hillary's lawyers scream double jeopardy, statute of limitations, but those are fresh charges, new evidence, and a DOJ itching to settle all scores. She's not laughing now. And then, Kamala, the border czar. Remember her? Unburdened by the past. Unburdened, unshackled, unconnected, disconnected from what has been. The border czar who turned the Southwest into a free-for-all. Her tenure as VP is a gold mine for prosecutors. The GOP alleges she knowingly ignored immigration laws, facilitating human trafficking by refusing to enforce border security, aiding and abetting under 8 U.S.C. 1324, a felony with up to 10 years per offender, per, offender smuggled or smuggled. And the evidence? Whistleblowers from ICE testify she ordered agents to stand down, let's assume, letting cartels flood the U.S. with fentanyl, tens of thousands dead, and they pin it all on her. That's conspiracy to violate federal drug laws, another 20-year rap. Her emails, subpoenaed by Congress, let's say show, she lied under oath during Senate hearings. Imagine that. Imagine lying about borders. And don't expect Jim Jordan to be doing. He's worthless. John Kennedy. These people don't do anything. They just have show trials. Ted Cruz. What about that? What about perjury? What about lying? 5 years. The DOJ then digs into the California AG days. Oh my God! What if they find she funneled campaign cash from her shady donors into her 2020 run? Campaign finance violations, 5 years more. Think about that. And then civilly, border states like Arizona could sue her for billions, claiming that her inaction, her immobility crippled their economies. Class action chaos. She's no longer cackling, no longer. She's sweating as the feds circle. So how does this all come together? How? Could it? Timing in politics, my friend. You see, Trump's victory flips the script. His AG, backed by a GOP Congress, changes everything. And it greenlights, let's say, special counsels to target the trio. No more Merrick Garland stonewalling. This is DOJ with fangs. You see, the House Oversight Committee, led by a pit bull, I hope, Jim Jordan, let him do something. Let's say he unearths documents and witnesses during the Obama-Biden era that they buried. Think fusion GPS ties for Hillary. Burisma payoffs for Joe, cartel connections for Kamala. Oh, yeah. Public outrage. Throw in the USAID nonsense that we've been able to unravel. It's beautiful. Stoked by Trump rallies, demanding accountabilities. 50 days in, it's the perfect anniversary gift. The Supreme Court 6-3 conservative holds the probes, ruling that Biden's any allegation of pardons invalid, executive privilege moot post-tenure. Grand juries convene in red states, say, that's what I said before, Florida, Texas, where juries aren't shy about convicting Democrats. Nope. Indictments then drop. Biden indicted for corruption and espionage. Hillary for obstruction of justice, spoliation and destruction of property, racketeering. Kamala for trafficking and perjury. The sentences, if convicted, Biden could see 30 plus years, Hillary 40, Kamala 25 plus. They'd rot in federal pens and hooscows and pokies like ADX Florence. I'm crazy with this. Not some cushy club fed. Civil cases pile on states. Victims, even private citizens, sue for damages. Can you see where this is going? Draining the war chest. USAID say, we don't have the money anymore. Defenses crumble. Nobody touches them. Biden's too frail to testify. Hillary's arrogance alienates juries. Kamala's word salad flops in court. Plea deals? Maybe. But Trump's base wants blood. And Trump wants blood. Don't kid you. And the AG knows it. And don't forget, Pamela Sue's got to make good on what happened with this Epstein thing. She's going to say, I'm going to show you something. Come on, girl, you can do it. And I know she can. Appeals drag on, but convictions stick. The evidence is too damning, my friends. The public too fed up. By 2026, they're behind bars, cracking rocks upstate, orange jumpsuits clashing with their egos. Cautionary tale, my friend, of hubris beating justice. Is it likely? Not a slam dunk. DOJ inertia, legal hurdles, yeah, could stall it. But it's possible. Possible, rooted in real laws, political will. The swamp's draining, my friend. And those folks are there. What do you think? How happy would you be? Give me an indication of how happy you'd be. Tell me. Let me see. Just a second. Let me see this. Yeah, Jim Biden got a pardon. Anyway, my friends, let me go back. We'll talk about that later. What do you think about this? Tell me, what do you think? What would you say? Is this just being mean? You think this is just being mean? You think maybe I think, oh, let it go. I say bullshit. Oh, no. Fred Pound says, you've never heard a song by Metallica and you love We Built This City. Is this a psyop? I couldn't spot a Metallica song if you play. Well, I have no idea. Didn't say I didn't like it. Just say metal. Nah. Pilgrim says, get rich criminals, make them, get rich criminals, make them poor. I thought that was a website or something. These, my friends, are implications. This is not just a joke. This is serious. Let me see if I can explain this. Do you have any idea what's happening now? Let me tell you what these people, if you don't stop these people dead in their tracks, we're over. We're through. And you may not like that. They may not be your thing. Maybe we're saying, let's move on. Let's talk about beef tallow and French fries. No, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk, how do we get these people? How do we teach them a lesson? Do you have any earthly idea of how this thing works? Of course you do. Of course you do. This is something which is mandatory. We have to do this. Mr. President, I want you to know you've got to do something. Let me also tell you something. I saw something which is so fantastic. RT had a piece where I think it was their defense minister. Where is this? Bringing up Gonzalo Lira. You have no idea how these bastards, whenever I see that, and Mr. President, you've got to do something too. You have got to stand up for an American citizen, Gonzalo Lira, a journalist who absolutely, positively was, I don't understand this, killed, tortured, murdered by this guy. How does that even work? How does that work? What is the matter with us? I don't understand. I really don't understand it. This is an American journalist, an American citizen. We look out for each other. You don't do that to us. You never do this. You can't. I'm telling you, it's just incredible. I don't know how to put this anymore. I don't know how to. Do you see where Michelle Obama and her brother have a podcast called IMO. Okay. All righty. Yes. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zakharova. No one but Russia remembers the death of American journalist Gonzalo Lira in Ukraine. You have no idea what that does to me. That I lose my mind. Mickey Mo says 800 likes. I'll buy 50 memberships. Go. Look at this. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Listen to me. We have worked so hard for this. And I don't want you to misunderestimate, as George Bush would say. I love this president. I'm telling you, I love this guy. But let me tell you something. And I want you to listen to me. And this is what you got to understand. I'm not going to tell you everything is groovy when it's not. Don't forget. Oh, look at Charlie says, don't forget Haiti. And how about Oprah? See, you have no, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to say this one time. And if I don't hear updates every month on what I'm telling you, you're fired. I want to have the special DOJ committee that goes after Sean Penn, Oprah Winfrey, all of these people, Naomi Campbell, Abramovich, Podesta, Hillary. I want you to understand something. There was something that many of us were told a while back that we can't talk about. I talk about it on my private channel, but I don't talk about it here because you can't even say these names because algorithms will hear them and cut you off. But if I walked into a house, let's say I walk into a house, I'm doing a welfare check. Let's just assume, and I walk into a house and I see pictures on the wall of nothing but kids in extremis, kids tied up, kids hurt, kids tortured, kids in fear. I would say, I don't know who this guy is. I want him. This is it. Follow him. Do him. Probable cause. Not reasonable doubt. Wouldn't you do that? Yes. If all of a sudden I'm reading something, let's say I'm reading something, and I'm reading, let's say, emails between a big fundraiser and let's say Gamala or whatever. And they're using codes for drugs. You know how this is. People have always, I've never understood this. People get on, they used to get on the phones and say, did you get the shirts? I got them. But they're twice as much as we thought. How many did you buy? 120? They'll never figure this one out. I said, what are you doing? You bought 120 pounds of a shirt. We know what shirts are. What are you talking about? The way you talk, the way you give messages, if ever you exist, is you use code words that are in sentences. You know, how's it hanging? You know what that means? That means the deal's in. Whatever it is. But anyway, but let's assume I'm hearing this word and this word and this word and this word. And the FBI comes and says, or the DEA says, here's a list of all of the code words that cartel members use for drugs. And they've got, I'm saying, why are they talking so much about sports shirts? Why are they talking so much about cotton candy? Why are they talking? You know, maybe, but we're not supposed to do that if it's those people. And if you do it, and if you do bring it up, and if you do say, wait a minute, this is weird, guess what? You're a conspiracy theorist. You're a lunatic. You're spreading hate and misinformation. Those days are over. Over. We're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do this anymore. And let me tell you something. When somebody tells you something, like Chris Calais, think about what he goes through. Chris says, what happened to the Schumer investigation? I don't know. That's a good question, but thank you. Let me tell you something right now. When somebody says, you're a conspiracy theorist, you say, that's Mr. Conspiracy Theorist to you. This is the most incredible thing that we're talking about stuff, which is, you know, I got to hand it to Tucker Carlson is at least trying to talk about things that I hope are not confused as being the dispositive review of the case. Just because Tucker says, yes, I believe that so-and-so was involved in such and such with whatever. That does not mean That is not tantamount for and with the government investigating or prosecutors. We're talking more about UAPs, and we're talking more about, you've got to look at what happened on the 11th day of the 9th month, soon to be 24 years ago. Shall I point out some things to you that don't make any sense? Shall I? Would you like me to? When is somebody anywhere going to mention geoengineering? When is somebody, Bill Gates mentioned it, go and do yourself a favor. Go online and look up geoengineering, and you will say, oh my God, MIT, Harvard, the dimming. What is going on here? What are we waiting for? Joe Rogan was talking to Bill Murray, which is still a weird interview. I'm still trying to get around. It was very strange, very odd. But I like Bill Murray. Anyway. And he was talking about Nixon. And Nixon was somehow set up because he was going deep into the Kennedy assassination. And Joe Rogan said, no, I've got Tucker Carlson said that. I was like, well, that's sort of, doesn't matter. That's kind of what happened. But they set him up to do something perfectly. Remember what entrapment is. Entrapment is making somebody do something that they really did not have the predisposition or propensity or proclivity to do in the first place, where they did not have a criminal predisposition to do it. Best example ever was DeLorean, the DeLorean case. Remember, DeLorean was the first Tesla. You know what I mean? Next, Elon Musk. Elon, yeah. Elon, I'm going to say something one time to you, and I hope you understand it. And I hope you listen to me, because it's important. You're going to have to show people what your private army can do. Every rich person has his own private army. The problem that people felt about things like Blackwater and others was that they may have private armies that involve themselves in things like, having their own. If you remember when Arbenz and whatever, instead of sending having coups, we'll just send our private army in there. We'll do it. So Elon has to have his private army. He has to have this. Because if you don't do something, if you don't show people, you're going to shut down, you're going to hack X. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you something. Zell, yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to think you did this. Well, I didn't do it. Well, you know what? Maybe you didn't. But I know you can find out who did. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut down something you love, something you need. And then you're going to say, whoa, wait a minute. I'm saying, oh, yeah. And then if you tell me, you bring to me the people responsible for me, then we'll let you go with yours. That's blackmail. You goddamn right that is. Or extortion or whatever. Yeah, I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to do it. And I have plausible deniability. And I'm so far from, but I've got Silicon Valley. I've got people you've never even heard of before. And they just sit there, and believe it or not, they're really kind of weird patriots in a strange way, because they feel like they've been subverted and compromised and sidelined up till now. They feel as though they want to do something good because they had this idea, and you're not letting them do that. So I'm going to show you. Everybody in the DOJ looked the other way, and all of a sudden, you see this bastard in Canada? It's going to shut off all our oil? Really? Okay. Let me explain to you, and I want you to understand something. I don't have a problem with anything other than getting caught. Now, what I mean by that is there are some things in life that you don't do even though nobody finds out you do it. It's called malum in se. Victimization, things involving children and innocent people. No problem with that. Corporations, countries, negative countries, enemies. You show them a severity, you show them a lethality they can't even comprehend. and you make them say, oh, dear God, here is the thing you want to do. And they've often said this. You want them to say, whatever you do, don't go after Elon or the president or the United States. Do not do it. They will track you down. They will destroy you. Do not do this. Stay away from them. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Stay away from them. I mean it. So far, nothing's really happened. If you don't put somebody in jail and fast, Adam Schiff, one of these freaks, I can't help you. I can't help you. Believe me, half of the stuff with this guy, you've got to do it. They've gone after the president and his family without, thank God for courts and independence and a great legal team and just them being worn out, and they would have put him in prison. We have got to do this. So let's remember something. Talk about all the beef tallow, beef tallow was another. This is all great. The bottom line comes down to very simply this. We must win this. And this has got to be 3 cycles we have to go through. 2024, midterms, and 2028. That's how you destroy the Democratic Party. Don't let them go into dormancy. Don't let them go like some herpes virus that just recedes into the spinal cord that comes back in a flare-up. You got to crush them. Do you understand? Do I make myself clear? You've got to crush these people. It's not about being nice and being friendly. You've got to destroy them. They are going to destroy our country, our way of life, our tradition, our values. You think I'm kidding? You want to futz around with these people? I don't. And what we're doing now is we're talking a lot of big games. That's terrific. This border bill, and that's good. And we've done tremendous things. Hell, the other day they said on was it Gayle King? Somebody said they went away. Some of these borders are still wide open. They just said, the hell with it. That's good. Lincoln Riley bill, good. There's all this stuff, good. Little boy with the badge, good. That's not what I want. That's not scaring anybody. Let me tell you something. When you wake up and all of a sudden say, breaking news, Ilhan Omar has been deported. What? If you can take away the green card or the permanent residency or whatever the hell it is of that guy from Hamas, Columbia or Barnard College, you can sure as hell throw her. By the way, you notice a Carmen Miranda look now? She's got this Winnie Mandela. Her I didn't think that. In any event, she can wear whatever she wants. Her and her brother, get the hell out of here. Can you imagine the holy shit? Did you hear what happened? They deported her. Ilhan Omar. Gone. Wait a minute. Just think about what you would do. Ilhan Omar? Yes. She's gone. They took her to wherever the hell, Mogadishu, wherever the hell she is, and dropped her off. See ya. Can they do that? Yeah. Anybody else? Oh my God. What about you, Crockett? Where are you from? We'll get you some of that. And being born here isn't going to help you. You can't divorce somebody who's born in this country. But, remember, these people think, remember during that Obama nonsense? No, he was born in Hawaii. Oh, no, we gave you the birth certificate. It was the short form, whatever. We just made that up. There's a new sheriff in town, my friends. Are you with me or are you agin me? Charlie Calais, Mickey Mo, Pilgrim Media, Fret Pound, Big Dickie Daniels, Freedom, thank you. Chris Cox, thank you. Rand Anthony Kelly, Deb Kemp, the Deb Kemp. You'll know her, you love her from Parts Unknown, Weight Unknown. Deb Kemp, a competitor both inside and out of the ring. The tough but fair-minded Raul Rodriguez, that was Gordon Scholl used to say, the tough but fair-minded Sonny Myers. MRO Levon, Old Folders, Seeker, and Life in Spain. Thank you, ladies and germs. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure you are subscribed, okay? We did it at 10 o'clock today. we'll be back to our regular time. But every now and then, we might switch it up. And the reason why you've got to pay attention, the reason why you got to remain subscribed is so that you know, and hit that bar, hit that like. We are going to make absolute magic. They're going to be like, wow, these people are serious. Absolutely. This is no dress rehearsal, my friends. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you've attempted to do. I mean that. Even though you failed, at least you gave it a shot. We'll see you later. And until then, don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors, our other channel at Lionel Legal. And then we'll see you later this evening. Until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.